Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Battlefield 3 In Depth. In today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the Mk11 and the SVD. Now, before you get your panties in a wad, I'm going to tell you the gameplay that you're going to see is only going to be with the Mk11 because these are statistically identical weapons. There are only extremely minor differences between the Mk11 and the SVD. I'm going to explain those differences, but for the most part, the numbers are identical. The biggest difference is if you like Russian scopes or if you like American scopes, you get the American scopes faster on the Mk11 and you get the Russian scopes faster on the SVD, and that's really about it. Lastly, if you're wondering why I'm only using the Mk11, it's because I already leveled both of these up on console, but I wanted to show you guys some PC sniping, and I didn't want to re-level all my snipers, and it was just easier to level up one and roll with it. Both of these weapons deal 50 damage up close, but drop off to 37.5 damage at a distance. They'll do that 50 damage for about 15 meters, and drop off to the 37.5 all the way out at 75 meters, which is extremely far away, but hey, you're a sniper, you're going for those like 400-yard plus kills, so you'll be doing that 37.5 damage more often than you think. What this means for you is that it's going to take between 2 and 3 shots to kill. That's assuming you're hitting the body or not the limbs. This weapon has a 2.0x multiplier for headshots, so it will always kill in one headshot at close range, or 2 headshots at long range, or a headshot and a body shot. However, limbs have a 0.9x multiplier, so you deal a bit less damage, but it deals 37.5, so when you do that math, you'll find that you can still kill in 3 limb hits at long range. That makes both the Mk11 and SVD very low damage sniper rifles. They're not the lowest damage sniper rifles, but they are quite low. The only thing lower than this is the SKS, but that's a very goofy weapon anyway. I'm going to review it in its own special episode. The rate of fire on both of these weapons is 260 RPM, which is pretty average for the class. There are a few weapons like the M417 that shoot faster, and maybe the M39 EBR shoots faster, but the bolt actions of course shoot slower, so 260 RPM is fairly medium for this class. It's not select fire such that it shoots as fast as you click the mouse or pull the trigger. You can't actually oversample this weapon, so try not to shoot it too fast, because when you're shooting it really fast, it's not going to be that accurate anyway. Next up, we need to talk about muzzle velocities. Their muzzle velocities are somewhat different, but still very similar. The Mk11 has 550 meters per second, and the SVD has 530 meters per second. This is pretty spot on for most sniper rifles, so it's going to feel a lot like the others. Nothing special going on here. The bullet range I'm not even going to mention because it doesn't matter on these weapons. The range at which your bullets disappear is well beyond the range at which you'll ever hope to get kills. For those of you that know, it's about 2.8 kilometers. You're never going to be hitting anybody that far away. They do have fairly low suppression for sniper rifles. When you think about sniper rifles, you want to think about the very high damage ones that suppress more, like the L96, the M98B. These suppress a little bit less than that, but they still are good suppression weapons, and you can definitely lay down some support suppression. Both of them have a magazine size of 10 or one in the chamber. This doesn't matter a whole lot. These are sprayer sniper rifles, so unlike the bolt actions, you'll burn through that pretty quickly. Both the SVD and Mk11 reload in about 2 seconds, but the Mk11 reloads very slightly faster than the SVD. That's one of the few places I would say that that weapon has a true advantage. One of the other things about both of these weapons is that their recoil causes them to kick up and to the right fairly hard, so you're going to have to watch your shots and compensate between every second or third shot. They also have a lower center speed than other sniper rifles, which means they return to their center position slower. This factors into the overall recoil, making them one of the higher recoil sniper rifles, also just because of their rate of fire and the way they spray. It's also definitely worth mentioning that while these are extremely accurate when aimed down sights, they are not perfectly accurate to the sights. The bolt action sniper rifles in this game are the only weapons in the game that are 1-to-1 accurate. The bullet goes where you're aiming. The semi-auto sniper rifles unfortunately do have some random bullet cone of wobble, so if you watch your bullets closely, you'll notice that they do veer to the left and right somewhat randomly, but ideally you should be close enough to your enemies to where this isn't a problem. Like all sniper rifles in this game, they have a very poor hipfire spread. That's one of the reasons that I run a laser sight on this weapon, also because the laser sight annoys the shit out of the enemy and it's not as cheap as a tactical light. I feel that both the SVD and the Mk11 are best with just the 7x sight and the laser, maybe the bipod if you want it, but I tend to be very mobile when I'm sniping these, and the bipod sometimes causes me to pop up or prone up in positions I don't want to be. I like to have the ability to move in and out of cover very fast, but that bipod is definitely a good idea if you feel like running that way. For those of you that like to snipe but don't really give a damn about your accuracy and you just like to throw bullets down range and let them land where they may, these are definitely the snipers for you. These are the spray and prayer sniper rifles of choice. There is, however, an alternate way to use these weapons. This isn't my favorite way to do it, but I can do it a little bit, and some people are damn good this way. You can put a holographic sight on it, or a PKA sight, or some sort of lower zoom sight, and again with a tactical laser, maybe in this setup a tactical light may be more advantageous, but the laser gives me better hip fire, and I do need to hip fire with this class because I'm getting all up close and personal. You can use them as sort of a close range support, 1, 2, 3 shot, or if you're close enough, hell, you can just kill them instantly with your headshot. If you have the skill to use these guns that way, then by all means go for it, but I tend to prefer to sit back, suppress, spray and pray, and use the laser sight to annoy people with these sniper rifles. It works out pretty well for me both on PC and on console. Now the episode isn't over. I have some guest footage from Zay, or Left Thumbstick, who came out of fucking nowhere with this one and did the best guest review that I've ever had on this channel, even better than Captain Obvious. And I don't mean any insult to Captain Obvious, but I was telling Captain Obvious don't use the text because it kind of screws up the consistency of the episode. I kind of didn't tell Zay this or give him any directions or limitations, so he just went on all on his own and reviewed the M417 and what's that other one, that very annoying JNG 9098 that people kill me with all the time, and did an excellent job on it. So this guest review that's coming up next is really good. Drifter out.
What is up, guys? It's Zay here, aka Left Stick, and I was hired by Drift to show you guys the two exclusive snipers from the premium package, the JNG and the M417. Let's start off with the JNG. The JNG damage is a 59 to 80% damage, has the same damage as the L96 and M485, has the fourth highest RPM of all the bolt action snipers, which is the 46.15, has a 1 shot to the head and 2 shots to the body, has a 35% suppression, has 11 rounds, 10 plus 1 in the chamber. The best sights I prefer to use with this weapon is the PSO scope, which is the Russian 4x scope. Now, if you're an aggressive sniper, you may want to choose the ACOG scope, or this scope, which is the PSO scope. And if you're a sniper that likes to sit back, pick off his enemies from a distance, the 8x scope or the 12x scope is the best, with the bipod if you choose. Now, if you're talking about personal reference, I like the JNG a lot. It's my second favorite bolt action sniper other than SV98. It feels like the L96, and L96 is one of my favorite alsos. Now, it's very mobile. It doesn't feel like the M98. The M98 is very heavy, has small rounds, you know, and it's really not one of my favorites. But the JNG comes in top of the class. For the damage it does, me being an aggressive sniper, I like to use the ACOG with it, and some people say, well, you get hit markers a lot and you bring people down to 20%. That's why DICE gave you a second weapon, which is your pistol. So if you switch your pistol real fast and you hit a guy with 1 bullet, it pretty much brings him down. The JNG is, you know, having a lot of experience with this weapon, being 56 in the world with the kills with this weapon, it shows a lot, and the JNG is one of the top of the class right now as far as the bolt actions. A lot of people get confused and think they're playing Call of Duty and just go into Battlefield quickscoping. You want to take your time with the JNG so your bullets can register. A lot of people get that confused. So be sure to check out the JNG and come back and tell me what you think. Now let's go with the M417. The M417 damage goes from a 37.5 to a 50% damage. Has the same damage as the SVD, MK11, M39 EBR, QBU88. But it has the third highest RPM of all its semi-autos, which is the 295. Shots takes 1 shot to the head, and a 2 to 3 shots to the body. Has a 20% suppression. Has 20 rounds, 19 plus 1 in the chamber. The best sights with this weapon are the iron, reflex, or ACOG with the grip. A lot of people like to choose the ACOG with the grip. I prefer the reflex with the grip. It really determines what best suits you. It feels like an assault rifle when you do that, so pretty much feel the gun around and you'll find out what best suits you. My name is Zay, aka Left Stick. Please be sure to go check out my channel for some exclusive Battlefield 3 recon aggressive sniping. So, I'll see you guys later. Peace and air grease. Later, guys.